Hey everybody, T-Man again, bringing you guys another fucking video. This one's gonna be doing my Monday Night Raw review from last night's Monday Night Raw. Let's get right into it. This is the last Monday Night Raw before the Royal Rumble, as you guys know. And I have not been doing weekly Monday Night Raws. Why? Because Monday Night Raw has absolutely sucked. And it's been a long time since I broke down a Monday Night Raw from segment to segment. And I thought I would do that tonight, letting you know what I think of every angle. Not in a rant. This is not going to be a rant, but I will be telling you things that I disliked with the show. And it's no surprise that I believe that Monday Night Raw for a very long time has sucked for weeks. I think going into Survivor Series was really good, and I loved the Survivor Series match. Them saying that was the match of the year, definitely pay-per-view wise, it probably was. After that, it really died out, and if you guys remember, if you guys go back and watch my Survivor Series videos, there's a lot of things I disliked too. I didn't like all the stipulations all that much. I thought they could have did the stipulations a little better, but Raw has sucked tremendously. I have not done a whole lot of reviews on Monday Night Raw, but I'm gonna break into this one. This was a big show, and you know what? WWE had the opportunity to make this one of the better Raws in a long time, and you know what? Because of all the legends they had on last night's episode of Raw, it was a watchable episode. It really was. It was watchable. But listen to my key words. Watchable. Wasn't good. Well, I mean, it was good, but it wasn't great. It could have been great with all the legends they had. Man, I would have loved to have been in the crowd for that event, man. I'll tell you, they were in Texas again, and I would have. They've been in Texas for pretty much the past week. They've been doing house shows all weekend from Friday on, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Raw. So, man, I know Texas is a big state, and man, they're getting a lot of good shows over there, and so many legends over there. So let's just start from the top. First segment, as always, you know, WWE, we got to start off with the talking segment, right? We had Brock Lesnar come out, and I'm not going to get into all this because I rather get into it on the final segment, because usually, not all the time, but most of the time in WWE, whatever starts out the segment, starts off the show, usually ends the show. Bray Wyatt, Triple H, John Cena talking about what's going to go happen, and pretty much saying that tonight, John Cena gets another opportunity to bring back Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan get their jobs back, and but only this time John Cena's gonna have to put his #1 contendership on the world title up for grabs. And you know, those of you who's been watching my videos know that I have not been a fan of this angle, because we all know that they're coming back, and I feel like when they do these firing angles, they insult our intelligence. However, I think knowing that, you know, the three were coming back, and that however they're playing this, they've made it entertaining. You know, I will tip, I won't be all hatred, you know, I will tip my hat off and give them props when it's due. And WWE has done an okay job of making the storyline somewhat entertaining, even though we know that that those three guys are not fired, and it just insults our intelligence. I just wish they didn't have to go that route. You guys could still bring us great storylines without saying, hey, he's fired. And not to mention, it screws a lot of fans. And let me tell you how. The one reason why I did not like this storyline is especially for Dolph Ziggler and Ryback, who you've been building really high lately. Dolph Ziggler is probably an accidental push. I don't think they really had that goal of pushing them as high as they did right now, and how hot he is. I think Dolph Ziggler was red hot leading up to his firing, and same with Ryback. And Ryback, they have been pushing. They've wanted to push Ryback. The problem with this storyline is, if they're red hot right now and they have all this momentum, why is it a fucking good idea to let's just take them off TV for a few weeks? that does wonders to people. I mean, it makes no sense when you have these guys as red hot as Dolph Ziggler and Ryback. Eric Rowan is not really red hot, but especially Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion. He had all this momentum coming off of Survivor Series, and same with Ryback, the guy who you actually want to push. You take him off air for 3 weeks, even though it's a storyline and whatever, and, you know, I'm sure Vince had all these ideas how this is going to make them red hot, but keeping them out of the eye off of TV is not a good idea. And not to mention, here's how you're screwing the fans. You guys do house shows almost every day. Taking these guys off of house shows, now, like, okay, what's bad enough is WWE is so money hungry when it comes down to their house shows. Like, you guys can see my house show review. I actually went to a house show in Vegas. Is they actually have 2 house shows a night, one in one town and one in another town, and they split that roster. You guys don't have a crazy roster, okay, like a huge, monumentally packed roster, okay? So taking off guys like Eric Rowan, Dolph Ziggler, and Ryback, you know, off of live events and all this because of a storyline that we all know that they're going to be back anyways, like giving them a free vacation. It's just a stupid storyline. Not a big fan of it. Anyways, so that was the opening segment saying that he was gonna he was gonna have the opportunity, John Cena was going to have the opportunity to bring back their jobs. And by the way, guys, this will be a lengthy video because I want to go in depth about every storyline. So we open up with a very good wrestling match. Thank God. You know me, I'm a big fan of in-ring wrestling. Had Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. And you know what I like, and here's one thing I'm very happy about in this particular segment here is this wrestling match went into 2 commercial breaks after the match already started. The match started, boom, commercial break, went back, and then it's wrestling, another commercial break, and back. That, you know what that meant is, I don't like seeing commercials in the middle of matches. I hate that. But what it means is they gave them a big block of time to put on a good wrestling match. Anyways, Bray Wyatt wins the match thanks to interference from Kane, and I want to see more of that. You guys got a 3-hour show. I've said it so many times. You guys have such a long show. You can give great in-ring workers big 2-segment matches, 3-segment matches. Really put over these guys, you know. Shit, like I would like to see Cesaro in longer matches. Great guys that can work. Dean Ambrose, Bad News Barrett, the Usos, a great tag team. You could put these guys in a couple segment matches, long matches. Give them great in-ring work. You know, you got 3 hours to kill instead of just making it feel like I'm watching an infomercial all the time. So anyways, really good there. I'm not going to break down every segment, but most of the segments, and we went to a Legends panel, which was pretty cool. And these little Legend panels really made the show watchable, and they broke them up throughout the 3 hours, made it really interesting and cool to watch Raw. The Legends panel, we had Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, all giving their thoughts of who was going to win the Royal Rumble. I forgot who Hogan said. I think Hogan said Daniel Bryan. I think Shawn Michaels. I forgot who Shawn Michaels said was going to win the Rumble. And then I think Flair said Dean Ambrose. Shawn might have said Bray, actually. I think Shawn might have said Bray. I think Bray, Dean Ambrose, and Daniel Bryan was the names that they said was going to win them. He went to the Big Show coming out. Big Show cutting promos on all 3 of the guys, calling them washed out, and I really liked seeing Big Show in the ring with all 3 of those guys because he had a history with all of those guys, and he actually talked about that in his promo against those guys, especially Hulk Hogan. Him and Hogan are good friends, but it was cool watching them shoot a promo on Hogan and stuff, saying, hey, you know, I beat you my very first night there. It just goes to show you how long Big Show's been around. Big Show and Chris Jericho, man, are the last 2 active wrestlers from the WCW era. I don't really count Sting because he's just coming in for Mania and did maybe SummerSlam, do a couple part-time matches. But as far as guys still been around, and Jericho's pretty much just part-time, so it's more just Big Show, the last remaining guy from the old Nitro days that are as that is still an active wrestler in WWE. Very cool to see. He did a knockout blow on Ric Flair. That was a pretty funny segment. Ric Flair doing the crotch chops on Big Show, you know, the little chops. Woo! Woo! You know, he was going crazy. It was cool to see Ric Flair do that. And then he was getting the knockout blow, man. Love Ric Flair. Still willing to do stuff like that. Roman Reigns comes out, pushed the rivalry between them. I believe Roman Reigns and Big Show is going to have a match before the Rumble match, I think. I believe so. Don't hold me to that. I'm pretty sure they are. I have to look to see the full card. I am going to be doing a video later in the week, probably on Friday after SmackDown. I'll probably do a SmackDown review on Friday, because it comes out Thursday. I'll watch it Thursday night, make the review Friday. Then I'll also do a Royal Rumble preview video on that, giving my thoughts leading up to it. So Roman Reigns comes out, shoes off the Big Show. That was a pretty cool thing. Then we move on to Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose, and I was really impressed by some of the matches we saw, like the Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan. That's a really cool match we got to saw. And I thought Bad News Barrett and Dean Ambrose was another interesting match. We got Dean Ambrose winning, no problem. Dean Ambrose is the bigger name here. But here, I'm going to point out a concern that I have here. Even though I agree, mixing those two guys together, you kind of have to have Dean Ambrose win because he is the bigger name here. But you guys got to be careful that you don't have Bad News Barrett lose too many nights on Monday Night Raw consecutively. Not everybody watches SmackDown. Last week he lost to Sin Cara, revenged the loss on SmackDown, or maybe he lost on SmackDown. I don't know. But you have to make sure that he does not lose too many times on TV tapings. He's your Intercontinental Champion, that's why. And to make that belt mean something, your champion has to win. You know, your champion has to win. Even though they're non-title matches, it just insults us. We're like, wait, how come he loses every non-title match, but he wins whenever the title's on the line? Or how come he doesn't defend the title that much? You know, it could be problems here. So just, that's a concern I have. Make sure, you know, he doesn't lose too many times on taping. And I think that one Sin Cara loss was just such a big mistake. I mean, they should have had him beat Sin Cara both times or whatever. Make it close. Maybe have it come out close to it. But you're making Bad News Barrett look weak. I mean, first of all, how he won the title. I understand he's a heel. Heels have to win shady. But why don't you just have... I think the mistake they had when Bad News Barrett won the title was they had him get his shoulders pinned right away. I think it should have looked like maybe Dolph Ziggler was winning or something without having... Bad News Barrett getting his shoulders pinned and getting defeated, and having the Authority come out and saying, "Hey, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match," or just or not even doing the 2 out of 3 falls match, because in this way he would have never got his shoulders pinned. So just say maybe just Kane screwing him, saying it's a no disqualification, anything goes type of match, saying, "Oh, I forgot to say this is a no DQ match." Then Kane costing or somebody from the Authority costing Dolph Ziggler, and Bad News Barrett winning in a cheating fashion, keeping Dolph Ziggler whole, doing it that way. This way, you're just making him look weak. So he loses the so he wins the title. And a very, after getting his shoulder pinned or whatever, which I disagree with, and then instead of having him have a dominant performance on his next match out, you have him lose to Sin Cara. Yeah, then he beat Sin Cara for the title on SmackDown, but then you have him lose to Dean Ambrose, which I agree with. If he would have just, you know... Be careful that you don't have them lose too much. Your champions have to mean something. And you guys know how I feel about the titles and all that, making titles mean something. They've booked the Intercontinental title and the United States title wrong for a long time. I do agree with, I'm going to talk about Rusev because he has a match in a minute, talking about what I'm thinking about him. Let's move on. We go to the New Day. Fuck. The New Day versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. A lot of talent here, man. I love the talent, all these guys. I'm not a fan of the New Day. It's too stupid. Too stupid. I like the fact that the three of them are together. I like their little faction thing. I think they should have made it serious and not a funny gimmick about we're all positively, yeah, you know, kind of a soul thing. I would have made it more like a nation. I've said it before. I would have made New Day more like a nation of domination, like a modern day, saying, you know what, the three of us, we've had our we had people keeping, you know, their thumb on us and keeping us down, and now we're gonna take what we want. You know, having the three of them together, you know, saying, you know what, we are the great in-ring technicians. Definitely Kofi Kingston, great in-ring worker. I love Kofi Kingston. I can't wait to see him in the Rumble, by the way. I can't wait to see what type of thing he's gonna do this year at the Rumble. But yeah, I would like to see him do more of a serious thing, not a soulful, funny, comical gimmick, because eventually that's just going to die out, and I'm not a fan of that. And I want their faction to work, but the New Day angle is just a very bad thing that's eventually just going to get one or two members fired of that group once when it fails, because Vince won't know what to do with them, especially with Kofi. Kofi's been around a long time. He's been around a long time. How many chances is he going to get over? Even though I think they should just book him as just a great in-ring worker, like Cesaro. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. Oh, God, Cesaro. He went from murking Chris Jericho this past weekend in the house show to getting pinned by Kofi Kingston. Oh man, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, both great, phenomenal workers. Putting them in a tag team is such a bad idea. I could see putting Tyson Kidd in a tag team with somebody. Cesaro's the wrong person. You gotta start pushing this kid, man. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And we're gonna see a 6-man tag on the Royal Rumble pre-show coming up with all three members of the New Day taking on Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, and Adam Rose. Not a big fan of that, just to kill time. Then we move on to the NWO Reunion part, out in the ring. Very cool segment. This was probably one of my most favorite segments of the night on Monday Night Raw, that really made watching this 3-hour show enjoyable for me, because those of you who knows me, I was always a WCW fan, and NWO was one of my favorite storylines, factions of all time. And seeing Hall, Nash, and X-Pac in there was really cool. I thought, you know, I thought it would have been better having Hogan in there. I understand why the way the storyline took place in the segment. I understand why Hogan was out there, but still, it would have been a better NWO Reunion with Hogan there, since he was actually in the building. And he did a promo earlier. So anyways, then you had the Ascension come out, which I think they've been billing the Ascension really wrong, guys. Having them just beat these local jobbers, you know, I know that Vince and them have a plan for the Ascension, and they're going to build them right. And you guys just have to build your tag team division more. You guys have so many wrestlers in NXT and guys that want to be wrestlers. You guys need to build your tag team. You guys need to have about 7-8 tag teams active in there, so you'll have 3 or 4 of them just jobbing, and have them have the matching tights and be a real authentic tag team. I think the Ascension is a little bit too gimmicky, way too gimmicky, and I think they come off kind of just more comical, you know, the way they come out, the way they shoot their promos, the way they look way too gimmicky, and it just doesn't work the way I'm viewing it on TV, watching it. It just doesn't come out. It just seems like they're posers. They're making them look like LOD, maybe Demolition ripoffs, you know, just. Man, I don't like the way they're billing them. But anyways, so the Ascension tells the NWO they're all washed up, shooting a promo on them. It was pretty entertaining. I thought Hall and Nash was doing some pretty funny thing, mimicking them. Scott Hall doing his little thing right here. Kevin Nash going like that, saying "old dog," you know, doing some funny shit. I thought that was funny. JBL gets out of the announce section, saying "How dare you assault the legends?" Brings out Farouk. So then we have an APA reunion. Thought that was really, really cool. cool. Thought that was awesome. Then after that, you hear, oh, you didn't know? You hear Road Dogg and Badass Billy Gunn come out. Thought it was very, very fucking cool again. Those guys came out and they actually started going after the Ascension, the new Age Outlaws. And I'll tell you, man, Billy and Road Dogg, they look old as shit, but they do not wrestle like they're old as shit. As if you remember last year around this time, they had the tag team titles. It was good times for them, you know, and they are still great in-ring workers. They work over there as trainers in NXT and their agents and stuff. So, man, they may look old, but Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, Jesse James, man, they still have the moves, and it was announced that we're going to see them at the Rumble. Later that night, it was announced that the New Age Outlaws is going to wrestle the Ascension. Finally, we're going to see the Ascension wrestle someone other than Jobbers. Of course, the Ascension's probably going to go over in that match, obviously, because they're building them up. But it's going to be really cool because Road Dogg and Billy Gunn could put on a really good tag team match. They're still great workers, considering how old they are. They still have it. And the Ascension is a good tag team. They're gimmicky, but they're great in-ring workers as well, great performers. So it should be a really cool match to see. Move on to a tag team divas match with Paige and Natalya versus Summer Rae and Alicia Fox, with the Bellas doing commentary out there, and it was announced that the Bellas are going to take on Paige and Natalya at the Royal Rumble. We had Paige and Natalya winning that match, of course, to promote. Obviously, they were going to win to keep the match interesting going in the Royal Rumble against the Bellas. I think it's a mistake. I think it should be a one-on-one match because the way the storyline's been taking place, I think it should be a title match with, this is how I would book it. I would have booked it with Natalya beating Nikki Bella for the title one-on-one, then having Paige turns on her because Paige is a crazy bitch, and out of everyone in the divas besides AJ, who's on hiatus right now, Paige is the top diva on that roster, the number one with the fan favorites, and she's the hottest bitch in my opinion. You guys may debate with me, but fuck you, my opinion, my video. Anyways, we move on to a squash match next with R-Truth, Ron Killings, who's still around, but he's a good in-ring worker, man. That's why they keep him around. He's been around a long time. I remember when he was a tag team with Road Dogg, and some of you guys might remember that, when he was known as K-Quick back in mid to end 2000s and early 2001, I believe. Rusev beats him handily. Speaking of Rusev, I said I wasn't talking about Rusev, the United States title run. I think he's a perfect guy to have the United States champion title right now. I think they should have him do more title defenses. Just because he is you're building this guy real high, you can use Rusev to really make that title prestigious by having him do a lot of title defenses. Every time he wrestles, I want to see him defending the title. Okay, I want to see him defending the title, even if it was against Ron Killings. Just say, I'm going to put up, that's how they should build it. They should build it, I'm going to put up this United States title. He's a, Russian, the Bulgarian guy, saying, I'm going to be putting the United States up against United States American citizens, like Ron Killings. He's an American, right? I'm going to be beating all your Americans for my American title. That's how they should be building it. Prestige, make it prestigious. Make that belt mean something. And I know John Cena is supposed to be the first guy to beat him at WrestleMania. Fuck. Don't have John Cena cost him the title or nothing like that. I want to see John Cena beat him for the title. Just giving the United States title to John Cena, because I don't want to see John Cena with a world title run again anytime soon at all. The next time I see John Cena with a World Heavyweight title, he better be a heel. He better be a fucking heel, because you turn John Cena heel, he will be a great heel, and I wouldn't mind having him with the title. Other than that, I don't want to see him with a fucking world title again. But a United States title, that's going to bring credibility to it. It's like, wow, a big top name like that, and then having him defend the title, and then dropping it to a young guy, and then having they're on the way to building up the United States title. So that's what I want to see happen with that. Move on to a match between Jey Uso and The Miz. Jey Uso beats The Miz 1-on-1. I disagree with that because the Usos are the tag team champion. This is a 1-on-1 match. So why are you going to have Jey Uso beat The Miz when The Miz and Sandal are going to go in for the tag team titles at the Royal Rumble, which they're probably going to lose, because I think we're going to see a breakup of The Miz and Mizdow at Royal Rumble. I will do that in my review video, Royal Rumble review, so stay tuned to that. Like I said, I'm going to do that on Friday, but I think it was a bad move because pretty much in those tag team matches, The Miz pretty much wrestles most of the time. Mizdow barely goes in these tag team matches. So having the guy that's pretty much going to wrestle the big chunk of the match at the Royal Rumble lose right away in a 1-on-1 match to the Uso, that's bad. I think you should have had The Miz go over to make fans more interested into the opportunity of, hey, The Miz can beat Uso for the title. He pinned Jey Uso. He can do it. Booking the match like that, it's just simple things. And I know Vince McMahon didn't care. He could have easily had The Miz win that match. But anyways, whatever. We move on to the main event. I'm going to not really break down and bring work on that. Let's just talk about the outcome. The handicap match between John Cena, Big Show, Kane, and Seth Rollins, 1 against 3. Had Stephanie and Triple H outside the ring, and then they shot over at the end of the match to the Titantron. You heard the crow, and what was it? Bum 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 bum. Sting. Loved seeing Sting. Love seeing Sting. I got so excited until I saw they shot the angle, and you would think, wow, if you're just reading the results off your phone. And I did a little bit. I before I watched it, I did read a lot of the results because here in LA, and I have my Time Warner cable, and I don't have DirecTV or none of that, so I have to wait till 8 p.m. to watch it. And it's 5 o'clock. Is what time it starts live here in the West Coast. It starts at 5 p.m. So I'm reading the results at 8 o'clock for I could see, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be a great show tonight. And I'm like, oh my God, Sting's going to be there. This is going to be great. The NWO, APA, Hogan, Hall, Nash. It's impossible to fuck up. They still fucked it up. And here's how they fucked up the Sting angle. I mean, this is an impossible situation to fuck up, and they fucked up. And here's how they did it. I think the camera work was really bad on this. It has been bad for a while. That the director or editor, whoever's in the truck, I don't know if it was Kevin Dunn. I mean, Kevin Dunn's been around a long time. I don't know if it was still him doing this, but it's been bad lately. And I think the camera man was way off shooting the shots, and where they're telling him the focus on in the editing truck, who the focus on, was really bad, because they probably only showed Sting out at the arena for maybe less than 30 seconds. And the way they did it was bad. So first they showed Sting on the Tron, which I wouldn't have done. I would have just had the lights go out. And I hate just the crow noise and the WWE music. I want to hear the WC fucking W theme sing. The crow sing. Do, 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 do. That's what I want to hear, And I want to hear the little boy with a man's heart turns, that's what I want to hear, That's what I believe they should be. So anyway, Sting, first they show him on the Tron, which is stupid. They're like, oh, it's a picture of Sting. And he's just standing there like this for about 30 seconds. And then you see his face move and he walks out to the ring. And then sometimes it's the little things that could really make or break an episode. And then you see Sting point at Triple H with his finger. That's right. That's what Sting is known for. The be quiet, which I like, his crow gimmick, being silent or whatever. And he's known for pointing with a finger, right, guys? No. Sometimes it's the little details that make big differences. And I remember back before they used to say Vince McMahon was so good with the little difference. Obviously not. When do we ever know of Sting pointing with his finger? They needed that bat. It's more dominant than a little finger. Bat. Point the bat. No words. Point the bat. Better than a finger. Keep the work on Sting and Triple H. Keep the camera work between those two only. Watch Sting fade out in the background. No, you don't see that. You just see him point with a finger. Then you see John Cena rolls up Seth Rollins because of the distraction. Then you see Triple H. Oh, no, Sting. Then you see John Cena running the ring. You've completely forgot all about Sting. You didn't even see Sting walk back to the dressing room. You didn't see nothing. You're focusing, there's Triple H, here's John Cena. Triple H, John Cena. And then it became a clusterfuck. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then Brock Lesnar comes out, and then all this other stuff goes on. And then Big Show comes out, and it's like, wait a second. You guys had Sting there, guys. You guys had Sting and blown opportunity between those two. You could have still had Brock come out. You could have had a lot of cool stuff, you know? You could have Sting from the rafter. You could have booked it all differently, you know? But the little finger point and all that. But anyways, past all that, the next thing that stands out to me is the Big Show and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doing the F5 of the Big Show, man. God, Brock Lesnar is a strong motherfucker. Anyways, all in all, guys, this was a decent night. And, of course, John Cena getting back the jobs of Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback, and most likely we are going to see them in the match, of course, at the Royal Rumble, probably being the entrance. So, all in all, guys, decent episode of Raw. The Legends made it very watchable to watch. And the Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, and Bad News Barrett and Dean Ambrose was my matches that I was really intrigued on. Other than that, other than the Legends and those two matches, it was just a so-so episode of Raw, average. And without the Legends, this thing probably would have sucked. And it was watchable. Wasn't great. If they would have just booked and did the camera work and editing a little different between at the end with Sting, it would have been a lot enjoyable. Then having Brock Lesnar top it off at the end would have just sent it to the over the top. I'm sure Vince was stroking his own cock, thinking it was the greatest thing ever. And you know what? On paper, it was. But due to your bad editing and how it came out on TV, it looked horrible. If you have to shoot the angles right. I don't know what happened to Kevin Dunn. I don't know if he was editing that in the truck. I don't know if he was off, if he's doing this anymore. I don't know the status on that. I don't know if what it is, but the editing and how it came out on TV absolutely sucked. And blown opportunity is all I have to say. Blown opportunity. Sting doesn't go to television. That was his first Raw that he ever did. Live appearance at Raw. What a letdown. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I will be shooting on Friday, probably about 3-4 videos, depending on what. I'll do my TNA one on... Oh shit, I'll probably do my TNA one probably maybe on the weekend. I'll do my TNA one because I forgot TNA Impact's shot on Friday. So that one that one will probably come out late. But for sure on Friday, I will post my SmackDown review, the last SmackDown, the last show for WWE televised major show before Royal Rumble, and then I'll be doing my Royal Rumble review and actual Royal Rumble preview video. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next one. Take care.